Hello, Speed Gamers! We're coming at you here with Untitled Goose Game, 80% glitchless, all good, no glitches. We're going to have our second and third place on the leaderboards going at it today, Tasselfoot and Shattermage. Going into this, we got Tasselfoot with 12 minutes and 39 seconds personal best, and Shattermage at third place on the leaderboard with 13 minutes flat. This is going to be quite the interesting race because the loser goes on to face the glitchless god Rowan, who has knocked both of these guys into the losers bracket, actually. So it will be a rematch no matter what. Alright, I'm going to ask the runners if they're ready now. I'm Hippo Krampus, by the way, but that's not important. What is important is this awesome glitchless action that is going to be thrown right at you. Got a little bit of a standby here. We'll be ready soon. So just to fill you guys in, this is the finals of the losers bracket, which means that the winner is going on to face the winner of the winners bracket, which is Rowan. To the surprise of nobody. What will be surprising is who's going to make it there. While it may seem like Tasselfoot has quite the advantage with his personal best, Goose Game is one of those games you just can't count anybody out on. There's always an opportunity to slip in there. Alright, looks like we got two ready runners. Which means I'm ready for that countdown. Alright, and the signal for honk has been given, which means we should be off in a moment. Now, just to fill you guys in a little bit, 80% glitchless is our 80% category that doesn't allow glitches. Alright, it's a little bit more intricate than that. You're allowed to do some things that will look like glitches, but trust me, they're not. And the distinguishing factor will be whether or not you use a prop to do it most of the time. So what this actually becomes is RNG and NPC manipulation. Looks like we're a little bit delayed on getting those honks, but it'll be any second now, I promise. There we go. And they're off. So the first trick we're going to see is a trick, it's not a glitch, is getting through this gate. You'll notice that they're not picking up the boot. That's important. Pick up the boot and you're doing 80%. We're not doing 80%. They're going to open up this gate and they're going to just try to cheat it a little bit here by going right through that boundary. Both of them get through nicely, and they're pretty much right in sync getting to the titles. So what this game is all about is we got a list of tasks we have to do to torture and terrorize a bunch of people throughout this game, including getting this groundskeeper wet right here, which Tasselfoot does, giving him a slight lead, as he will not have to complete that task now and he can go on to the next, whereas Shattermage is dealing with not getting it now. Oh, Tasselfoot, a little bit of an error there in grabbing the keys. Got noticed, but that's okay. Gives Shattermage a bit more opportunity, making it competitive. So what we're seeing here is stealing the hat and dashing it right into that heavy brush right there. Now that is hidden. Grabbing this rake, no swag rake this time, and he's going to get the classic rake in the lake. Everybody loves rake in the lake. Shattermage having some issues when it comes to controlling Willy. That's the name of this groundskeeper right here. And the important things you have to do for Willy is get him wet, steal his keys, steal his hat, and steal his rake. Unfortunately, it took a little bit there for Shatter to get him wet. That's okay, we still got multiple sections upcoming. Meanwhile, we see over on Tasselfoot's side, he is currently trying to do some RNG manipulation that will either pay off or not pay off all the way at the end of this race, because this is the one category we do that actually does what we call bell return. And during that bell return, Willy likes to steal the bell back, as do all the other NPCs. And what Tasselfoot just did there is hoping that Willy will be too busy focusing on something else rather than grabbing that bell. Going on into High Street as Shattermage dunks that rake in the lake. We're going to see a lot of multitasking coming up soon. This is a bit of a warm-up going into the later sections. He's balancing between getting Timmy into the phone booth and getting Willie to buy back his spade. Willie absolutely is a meanie standard gamer. And here we're seeing not quite a broom break, unfortunately. If you can break that broom there, that is the fastest strat you can do. It's not always going to happen, though. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal. He can deal with it quite easily. He's used to it. And here we can see Shattermage entering high streets now, as Tasselfoot becomes a reality TV star. The real Gooses of Unknown Village. Shattermage is getting Timmy in that phone booth nice and smoothly as Tasselfoot is dragging the broom over to get Shopkeeper to break it. There we go. So the way this works is now that he's completed all the other tasks, there's a final task that gets you on to the next one. I think it's called the progression task. And in this case, it's going to be closing the Shopkeeper in this garage, which Tasselfoot will lure her in there, and then boom! Hope she's not claustrophobic. Goose is nice. He only steals one set of loo paper, but not in this category. He's so nice, he's just leaving it all for you guys. I'm not sure what he does for his bathroom needs, but we'll not talk about that. Going on now, we're seeing that Shattermage is getting on into the garage closing as Tasselfoot heads into my personally least favorite and least successful section of this game, Back Gardens. We've got two NPCs here separated. The world record in this category, by the way, is Rowan with 12 minutes and 19 seconds, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shatter was not glitching through any shopkeeper, because this is glitchless, clearly. Anyways, we got two NPCs in this section that they're both going into now. We got Roger, which is the old man here that Tasselfoot just stole his pipe. And we got Tina, who is the messy neighbor, over on the left. As you can see, this game is a lot of stealing objects and just getting movement down, right? And manipulation here. So we're going to have Tasselfoot going to dress up that bust, one of the main requirements, and one of the most important parts of manipulating Tina right there. Making sure she's in a good spot to dress up that bust so you can continue without having any problems. So far, both of them doing a nice job of keeping Roger from chasing them. Shatter just has to get one more thing, as that bus gets dressed up by Tasselfoot. Bell is run, T is spit, and boom! Tasselfoot has that statue. Is it a goose? Is it a duck? I don't know, but the goose has it. So the next step for Tasselfoot will be getting all pretty with a nice bow tie. And the way he does this is manipulating the fact that Tina has a terrible memory. It is a duck. Oh no. Then yes, the duck statue is stolen. So Tina has a terrible memory. The statue clearly was not there. However, she will gladly dress up the goose, which is not even a duck, and put that bow right on there. Tass is now a pretty boy. As Shatter is having some issues here, seemingly, but not too far behind overall. We don't talk about the statue. Alright. And there's the broken vase. It's very important that Tina not see the broken vase. This is why we saw Tasselfoot hit. Yeah, the response from House was yes. Is it a duck or goose? Yes. Classic meme answer. So that's why Tasselfoot did all that manipulation while he was stealing the vase. He honked, he pecked the bush to make sure that Tina would not be paying attention, as we just saw Shattermage do there. What luck will Shattermage have on this section? He gets the slipper, as Tasselfoot is ending Back Gardens right now. Oh yes, the best way to cut the prize rose is directly in front of the owner of said rose. It's not enough to torture people, you have to make sure they know it. Shatter is not ahead, but it's still relatively close. Tasselfoot now making his way over to pub after he trashed a house going through it. The next section is pub. The first thing you have to get across is Vinny, essentially the bodyguard. He really does not want this Goose to be in his pub. But luckily we make him fall flat on his face, and then Tass is going to be living out his fantasy of making it on America's Got Talent, performing for the two ladies and earning that flower, sorry, not rose. And then stealing up a mug. Pub lady notices, but this could be good for him. If he does this right and does not get hit by Box Girl here, good manipulation, then he could get a free toy boat later. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Drops it in there, doesn't break it on the reeds. That's the most important part. As Shattermage gets a clean entry into the pub. This time is Shattermage's turn. Alright, we're going to have to go to the judges on that one. Who performed best? Who really deserves that flower? Alright, and Tasselfoot is going on to the next section for him, which is the harmonica cycle. There's two cycles that old man can be doing, the dart cycle and harmonica cycle. Shattermage has to go to the backup mug because the first one is dropped and broken. As Tasselfoot turns on the sink, he will not be getting a free toy boat this time around, but he is manipulating Pub Lady rather nicely there. Shattermage gets a clean drop into the lake. Moving onward, Tasselfoot controlling Pub Lady and getting her to a preferable position so she goes ahead and puts up that sign. Sometimes she can get distracted or otherwise off course, and she will not go directly for the sign, which is important because the last little task we have to do involves having a tomato, which you just uncovered there. You can see Tasselfoot luring Vinny now. Vinny's like, oh no, a goose. But now, well, Goose is gone. Might as well take care of this tomato. I sure hope nothing bad happens. Ooh, bucket. Shatter having some issues here. Vinny is up on the patio. That is absolutely not preferable. I didn't quite see what happened there on him either, but I'm sure Shatter will have something to mention about that. Probably a unfortunate chase sequence there. Oh no. Oh, Shatter, I feel for you right now. All three of them up there ready to make a conga line by the looks of it. Now, Vinny's priority right now is purely to get the Goose all the way out of the pub, while the Pub Lady only wants to get the Goose off of the patio itself. And Tasselfoot just conveniently climbed a fence there. No glitching involved, because this is glitchless, of course. It's all exploitation. And now moving on, how will Shattermage be handling this situation? Because he wants Pub Lady to go over there. Vinny's already here. This is not terrible, but he's going to have to balance Vinny to keep him from walking too far away. Alright. I just got word that Shattermage has deferred to the next round. So I am expecting to see a quit out momentarily. As we see Tasselfoot struggling a little bit to get the bell out of Pub there. And there's a quit out by Shattermage there. But we still need Taz to finish it. We can't have two runners not finish. Alright. Taz has had to do a little bit unconventional for his taste, but onwards he goes with a small little conga line this time. Taz is, oh, by the way, this is the bell run. I'm such a great commentator that I forgot to say what the bell run is. Bell run is now we have the bell in hand, and we just want to get that bell all the way back to the starting part, which involves getting past all these NPCs all over again, who now want nothing but to get you out of the way and to get the bell back from you. If they steal the bell back, as we saw on Tasselfoot's side, they will put it on a specific part, depending on what section you are in. In the pub, it is on a table on the patio. I can't remember exactly where it is. I think in the garden, it is on the bathtub, but if Roger grabs it, he'll just chuck it over the fence. Getting good luck here, Tasselfoot. He just has to deal with one shopkeeper chasing him. And here's Timmy, the not-so-brave kid. What luck is he going to have with Willy? Is he going to get successful RNG? Or is he going to be blocked here? And it looks like he is in his normal position. Willy will normally go and guard the exit to the garden. Conventionally, you would go out a small hole over to the left in the hedge. But we just kind of go around, because we're doing things fast. Timmy did snatch the bell once, so it is told. He just never mentions that he snatched it from the ground itself. The goose was long gone. And here we're going to see, ready for the next round. Okie dokie. Both runners just gave the signal that they're ready, so I'm going to go ahead and start them on their way. Real quick, they don't want to wait. They want more Goose. And the honk has been sent. That was a pretty interesting race one. We had some unusual happenings for both the runners there. They will be off shortly. And my stream just froze. Alright, I believe we are now waiting for the honk to fully process here. Off they go for round 2. Hey, and in comes the raid from SpeedGaming 3. Welcome, welcome. 80% glitchless, Untitled Goose game. Losers bracket finals. This is intense. We got a clean clip by Tasselfoot and Shattermage deciding to hover right over that bad boy as they both approach that sprinkler and pray for Willy RNG here. Who will get the best? Well, no best RNG here. Tasselfoot and Shattermage getting pretty similar RNG there. Both Willys were slightly off to the right. It's not preferable. It's annoying. But they can manage it, and it puts them on the same foot here. Clean grabs, clean drops by both of them. Professionals. Day in, day out. And Tasselfoot getting Willy wet. Shattermage shortly after. Now we get to see Willy's lovely bald spot, which is the majority of his head. And hidden away it is. Can we get a swag rake? No, we cannot, but want to know what we can get? Rake in the lake. Everyone's favorite task. Alright, now it's time to give Willy a sore thumb. Who will be first to do it? Very close so far. Tasselfoot milliseconds ahead, maybe 1 second ahead. And here we see those manipulation attempts again. So far, there's been no consistent way to get Willy to do anything at the end of the game. So all we really have to do is move a bunch of stuff and hope for it. Tasselfoot getting through cleanly, Shattermage following in suit. And the race is on. Oh, yep. Thank you for the reminder. My apologies there. Tasselfoot took round 1. And the crown shall be getting... There it is. Alright. Not great RNG for Shattermage there with the shopkeeper, but can he handle it? Tasselfoot getting the broom break. Shattermage getting the broom break. This is good. Neither of them got it last time. This time both of them do. The important part about that is it skips having to do it later, and it balances 2 tasks at once rather than having to do both of them at the end. Or one of them at the end. And then stealing Timmy's glasses, because seeing is completely unnecessary. Tie a blindfold around you, get into that garden, you got this. Tasselfoot electing to steal those classic shades as Shattermage runs around and steals the toy viewer. Photo viewer, classic among busts across all of Goose Game. Shattermage, I'm not sure, waiting a little bit to get Shopkeeper in there. Probably wasn't confident on how far through she walked, but both of them get the door closed and they're on to the next section shortly. We're getting some nice honks from Tasselfoot now. Teacup cycle. Teacup cycle. Or teapot cycle. That's an always interesting result. And we got newspaper cycle here for Tasselfoot. And ooh, teacup cycle it is for Shattermage. That's unfortunate. So Shattermage will have to wait for Roger to pick up that newspaper, and off he goes, stealing that slipper, stashing it behind the bush, honk, and onwards. Meanwhile, Tasselfoot declares that that pipe is not good for Roger's health, very bad, gotta take care of your lungs, people, and stolen it away. Next up, hats. Keeping your head warm, not necessary, it's summer. It's always summer in Goose Game. Got good Tina manipulation on Tasselfoot's side, good RNG, with her being up on the top. You want her up by that bell, because then she'll be quick to get to that bust to dress it on up for you. Shattermage getting a little bit unfortunate here. With her coming down, she will prioritize closing that gate back up, so he smartly grabs both the hat and the pipe so he can... Oh, he knocks the vase over, though. He did not want to do that. Meanwhile, Tasselfoot making him spit out that tea again. Tina is the killer of runs across the world. Alright, pretty solid timing here by Tasselfoot. Not quite what I think he was going for, but not bad at all. And he is now the statue. Once again, taking advantage of Tina's absent-mindedness. Shattermage stealing the soap. Not entirely sure what he's going for here, other than getting Tina to chase. And there you go. Smart move, but I'm not entirely sure what she's going to do about that soap now. Meanwhile, Tasselfoot going to steal the other slipper. It's gone. Gotta get that vase to him now. Does not pick up the bow, but he's no longer a pretty goose. Oh well, sacrifices must be made. Oh yep, she did go back for that soap. Tasselfoot bringing that prize rose right on over so that Roger can witness. Oh, it's brutal. You can see his heart breaking. Oh, misses the bra. But not a problem. Very slight time loss. He has plenty of time right now to take advantage of. Just keep on pace. Shattermage not happy with the run, showing the little wing flap there. He has been doing well for himself, though. He's been golding. So I do recommend checking out his PB, checking out how he's doing. Tasselfoot getting blocked out by Tina and chased, because that's what Tina likes to do. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, you don't like seeing it, folks. Nice little sass back at Tina there by Tasselfoot. And we're going to see brutal destruction of the prize rose again on Shattermage's side. It's gone. Back onto the pub. I guess now's as good a time as any to mention that the reason we grabbed the bra is because it's not technically the same type of prop as the socks are, has ragdoll physics, so it doesn't slow us down when we run. Shattermage ringing the bell. Not entirely sure what his goal is there, other than manipulation for later for Tina. A little bit of blocking there, but not as bad as Tasselfoot gets the Dart Cycle. So far, so good for Tasselfoot's pub. Stealing that mug right behind Pub Lady. She doesn't hear a thing. Box Girl getting in the way. Tasselfoot knows it and goes around. You do not want to break that mug in a race like this. That is quite the time loss. The problem with breaking the mug is that it will throw all the other cycles off, and you won't be able to enter like Tasselfoot is right now without having to get through Vinny again, because he will be back in the way. And now we're seeing some manipulation on Shattermage's side again, grabbing the harmonica as he goes onto his mug, and Tasselfoot makes him fall on his bottom. Makes Old Man fall on his bottom. Tasselfoot now balancing and juggling Pub Lady, keeping her away from that faucet because she will turn it off, and that does make Goose sad. For anybody not aware of how the game works, once that fills up, you can grab the toy boat. If she turns it off beforehand, you have to turn it back on. It's a waste of time, and it's just saddening. Tasselfoot doing it right, getting it all down to a science. And onwards, he's moving on to the final task of the area. Dumping that bucket right on Vinny's head, making up for all the times we've been blocked. Shattermage getting the toy boat now. Doing pretty well, but Pub Lady does notice the toy boat there, which can impact things. So he's going to have to do a manipulation on Pub Lady to make sure she doesn't go back to grab the toy boat and waste time before going for the sign. Not a guarantee, but if he bumps her right there, he goes, and she's onto the sign. If you don't bump her there, she will always go back for that toy boat, and then she'll decide to go and do the sign, and that's slow and makes Goose sad. Tasselfoot slowly waddling behind Vinny, soaking it all in, and then onwards and around, climbing the trash can, or the dumpster. Nice movement by Shattermage there, trying to catch up here. Significant improvement over the last pub there, Shattermage, doing nice. As Tasselfoot decides to button mash like every amateur fighter you've ever seen. Pulling down that model castle so that he can ring that bell all the way home. Shattermage dropping a tomato this time too. Interesting manipulation of Vinny there. Even more interesting, Vinny, instead of grabbing the tomato at his feet, walking all the way back to the tomato box. As Tasselfoot exits Model Village, Shattermage entering it here and doing our magical little climb over the fence. Not a glitch, I promise. Shattermage pulling down that castle. Tasselfoot going right around the little bush there. Does it nicely, gets away with it. When you see him ducking and dropping that bell, he's trying to stun the NPCs. If you drop it, there's a chance that the NPCs will stop chasing you and instead go into confused or shoo motion, and that will greatly help your odds of getting away from them. It's not 100% consistent. On certain NPCs, it works better than others. For instance, Tina right there works almost every time. And good manipulation of Roger as well. Getting right over, and he'll be through back gardens, no problem. Shattermage waiting around a little bit so that he can better manipulate Vinny there, and he does so right around the bush again. He is home free out of pub and into back gardens as Tasselfoot is heading towards High Streets 2.0. Big RNG here is where the shopkeepers are. They in the way? Shopkeeper is in the way, so he's gonna have to slow down there on Tassel's side. And then once she sees you in the shop, she'll always go for that broom first and slows her down while you just sprint right by her. And now we have the cowardly kid. Bye-bye, Timmy. Get out of here. We only accept geese around here. On to Willie. Good RNG, bad RNG. No difference. So both attempts, Willie has not been in an unusual spot. He has been in his usual place, walking towards his little battle station as Shattermage is entering High Street. Pretty nice run on both sides, and showing off the glorious goodness that is Untitled Goose Game. Tasselfoot bringing it home. He has this one. GG to Tass. That is a lot of honking over there, Tass. Let's see if I can get them on in here. For some reason, I always have trouble getting them on in, as Shattermage is going to deliver that bell right to the hole where it belongs. Seem to be unable to send an invite again. And we're just going to be trying to get them on. There we go.
Hello.
Tasselfoot and Shattermage in here. Tasselfoot, GG on the win. Congratulations.
Thanks. I had pretty good runs, except for the first bell return in pub, where I was trying to get a 12, and so I did something that I shouldn't have done. But really clean runs overall. Glitchless kind of sucks, and I got lucky, I guess. GG Shatter. Glad I got a chance to race against you in this tournament, man.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I'll butt in here a little bit. The bell return in the pub was your problem. Pub was just a bane in general in this one. First match, Shatter got a little messed up in the pub. All three NPCs, the pub lady, boss girl, and Vinny, all up on the patio at once. It was not fun for him, I'm sure.
Sounds unfortunate. I kept looking over a little bit and definitely saw he was struggling in the first race, but hopefully the second race was pretty close and entertaining throughout. I saw it was tighter early on, so I wasn't screen watching quite as much.
You guys were pretty tight going into back gardens. You guys had pretty smooth gardens and
Can you hear me
high
now?
streets. Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing, Shattermage?
I was wondering why there was no response. I've been talking this entire time. I'm like, wait a minute, can you not hear me? I was on push to talk. I was on push to talk.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, we can hear you now. So do you have any comments on how you did?
Where do I start? Yeah, a GG test, by the way. As I said before, I just wish it could have been a better match. Yeah, just everything goes wrong. It started out with Willie just not wanting to cooperate. Now, I when I got his keys, it ended up being a ninja grab. Like he didn't even take notice. So I had to honk at him, and then he chased after me, and I tried to get around him, and he turned around and bumped into me again. He managed to get away with his keys from the sprinkler, so I had to chase after him again. So that collectively put me about 45 seconds behind.
Yeah.
And I never recovered from that. High Street both times went pretty good, pretty okay. Back garden the first time was a mess. It was a disaster the second time too, but I kind of tried. I made it work. I ended up, and though at the end of back garden both times ended up in the same place, the same time loss as it was. 7:30 out the door the first time and 7:36 the second time or something. And then, excuse me, on pub the first time, God, oh my God. Vinny, pub lady, and box girl all managed to get up into the pub, because I missed the old man's stool, and then I honked to get him back up again, and then I was late to pull it because I got stuck on something. I don't remember what happened, but he saw me pull it, so it didn't work that time. So I had to run back up, and then Vinny was still tying his shoe, and he was just getting up from that, so he followed me up into the pub as I was going to turn the water on. So that caused that. And while I managed to get the water turned off, and while I had both Vinny and the pub lady in the almost the right places going into the back room, she wasn't far enough ahead. So I had to go back under the crawl space and wait for one other to get back. And trying to honk to get the other one back in alerted both of them, and a pub lady dropped her sign. And I failed to realize that now Vinny's going to pick it up. So as I was running back up to hit the bucket, I was looking at the bottom of the screen and instinctively hit the bucket when Vinny wasn't even in the room. At that point, I just said F, and I just quit out. I said, look, there's no way I'm catching up. I saw Tass was having a problem with the bell return, but there's no way I was second round. They're just bad arming.
I actually wound up golding my back garden both runs. I had a 0.2 second gold and then 0.2 second gold again on the 2 runs. So I had really good back gardens, both of those, and both of them were on 12:58 pace coming out of pub onto the bell return. So I was trying for the 12 on both of those runs, but
yeah. Now I golded my back garden by 0.8 seconds immediately before this round. And then I golded my pub by 3.5 seconds right before this. So, and then this happened. Well,
I'm looking forward to getting my ass kicked once again by Rowan. So Rowan, if you're out there, man, I'm bent over and grabbing my ankles, buddy, just for you.
I will have to call for that.
All right, I'll gladly watch that happen.
It's not like I'm working on.
Yeah, don't have any job getting in the way right now. But yep, GG to both of you. Shattermage, congratulations on fighting your way here. Third place overall, solid placement. Yeah. It looks like we're going to be top 4 of the match, or top 4 of the tournament is top 4 of the leaderboard by the looks of it.
Yeah, it is. So it happens to be.
No upsets, unfortunately, except in the grand finals. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to upset. No, I'm not. I'm not actually.
Grand finals. Tassel's calling it right now. He's getting a 12-minute 6-second.
Somehow I have to beat Rowan 6 times in order to actually beat him, and that's not going to happen. If I can take one game off Rowan, I will be happy.
Tasselfoot has been secretly creating tool assistance for this game, and he's willing to break it out when it matters.
He's going to come out with a 12
flat, and somehow all 3 runs are identical, the exact same time.
Exactly.
I don't know how that happened.
Skips the entirety of High Street. I mean, it happens sometimes.
So, I hope everybody enjoyed. And we'll try to get the match with Rowan scheduled relatively soon.
Sorry I couldn't force a game 3, but just wasn't.
All right, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And keep loving the goose.
Honk.